Hello and welcome, my name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and as per usual we're going to be recapping this week's popular culture and gaming news that I find interesting and think you will too. Please keep in mind this video was recorded either early Friday morning or evening on UK time, so some important news could be missing and that this video will be posted most likely on a Saturday. Anywho, enough jibber jabber, without any further ado, let's do it to it. Okay, so let's start off with a little TV news, then get into this month's games with gold on Xbox and go from there. A production company has acquired the rights and is apparently working on bringing a fully scripted live-action TV show based on the Mirror's Edge franchise. Although this sounds cool and Mirror's Edge has a passionate fanbase and incredibly interesting story, a show based in this universe sounds expensive and would need a lot of care and attention, not to turn it into some cheesy lowest common denominator bullshit. Personally, I'd like to see them team up with Amazon or Netflix, as this would probably be their best chance to make a high quality show on a modest budget. June's games with gold are as follows. First, on Xbox 360, we have Super Meat Boy and XCOM Enemy Unknown. And on Xbox One, we have Goat Simulator and The Crew. Ready at Dawn, the developers behind the Order 1886, are revealing their new game next week, most likely leading into E3. And no, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which side of the coin you sit, it will not be a sequel to the Order 1886, as that IP is owned by Sony. And this game is being published by GameStop, with their growing initiative into game publishing. Which is a shame, as although the Order was a shit show and more of a tech demo than a game, that universe was racked with potential and would be a shame to just abandon it, at least without letting another developer take a run at it first. As for Ready at Dawn's new game, it will be interesting to see if their latest offering can make amends to those gamers that bought into the Order 1886 hype. Ex-Watch Dogs and Ghost Recon devs debut their new online melee/fighting game RPG. This actually looks like a pretty cool concept, kinda like World of Warcraft or Rust meets Tekken. Whether or not it will end up being a pile of shite, like most new games in this genre, who knows, but at least they're trying to do something different, so on that basis, one to watch, methinks. Now a couple of disappointing pieces of news. First up, the developers behind The Witcher 3 will not be showing off their next much-hyped game, Cyberpunk 2077, at E3 this year. However, instead, CD Projekt Red may be showing off a new unannounced game in a format previously unexplored by the studio. My best guess on this is that it would be a mobile card game based on Gwent from the Witcher series. But it could be anything really, I'm just throwing some ideas around. Next, it has been confirmed that No Man's Sky is being delayed until August 9th in the US, August 10th in Europe and August 12th in the UK. Although a shame, this isn't too much of a big deal for me. I'd rather they get the game right than pump out something not fit for purpose and have to patch it as they go. And as this game is a lot to take on for such a small studio, and there are still plenty of games about and so many games in my back catalogue to work through, that this news isn't that much of a big deal for me personally. What is, however, is that here in the UK, we've got to wait 3 extra days than everywhere else, probably due to some sucky licensing agreement or some such bullshit, even though Hello Games is based in the UK. Which means my YouTube feed's going to be chock-a-block with No Man's Sky videos for 3 days before I even get my sweaty paws on the game. What a buzzkill. The Pokemon Go beta is Go in the US. See what I did there? Yep, that's right, it's cheap pun time. Anywho, the highly anticipated mobile game is now for a limited time available in select regions. I don't know whether this is an open or closed beta, but if you're a Poke fanboy or girl and want to catch them all, you should probably check to see if you're still eligible for sign up. A new trailer for the long-awaited Mighty No. 9 dropped, and oh good lord, it is cringy and cheesy as fuck. This trailer looks like it's right out of the 90s, and even the way they've shot the game itself doesn't make it look great. This really isn't a good look for the fans of the game. Here's hoping this is just Deep Silver, the Western publisher, screwing up on marketing and that this doesn't reflect on the actual game, because if it does, they may as well call it meme number 9. It's not like this game needed any more controversy with the amount of delays Mighty Number 9 has had. Yet again, what a balls up. In YouTube is still shit news, a 7-year-old gaming video got content ID'd and pulled from YouTube due to Family Guy using this video in one of their episodes, possibly without even asking if it was cool to do so. And then, due to YouTube's automated content ID system and Fox not keeping a close enough eye on what intellectual property they're claiming copyright over, this poor unsuspecting schmuck got his video pulled. Although this was all sorted out pretty quickly, a few days after it was brought to light, it still shows fair use on YouTube only seems to count for those incredibly rich companies, and not so much for your average Joe, where it's guilty until proven innocent. An anonymous chief technical officer, presumably for a game company, claims PlayStation VR was going to be a terrible experience on the original PS4 due to the demands of VR. Hence the move towards the codename Neo with its higher specs. It's funny how this is framed in past tense, like it's all fine and dandy now that the PS Neo is around the corner, forgetting about the 40 million PS4 owners who may not want to pay out the ass for a new games console on top of the already fairly expensive VR headset. The takeaway line from this is, if you want a PlayStation VR headset and don't want it to be a terrible experience, you're probably going to have to stump up another £350 or $400 minimum to get a quality experience if this source is to be believed. And finally, let's get into the main event. Xbox has news and rumours from credible sources of both Kotaku and Polygon popping up all over the place, and are all expected to be announced at E3. First up, there will be an Xbox Slim launch this fall. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, plus the original Xbox still gets a lot of stick for looking like a VHS tape recorder. Next up is that in 2017, Xbox will also be launching a new more powerful console similar to the PlayStation Neo, except is reported to have 5 to 6 teraflops of performance to the PS Neo's supposed 4.1. Compare that to the original Xbox One and PS4 coming in at roughly 1.3 and 1.8 respectively, and if true, these half steps are more like a new generation of hardware by another name. And leading back to the previous story, this generational half step mainly seems to be catering towards developers of VR games, which require more performance going forward, as not only does PlayStation have its own VR platform, but included in this report, Microsoft is going to be teaming up with Oculus to bring their headset and games to Xbox. So you might be excused for thinking that due to virtual reality being a new thing, this is a one-off anomaly. Except again, if these anonymous sources are to be trusted, Microsoft is said to be going for a more iterative approach from here onwards, more akin to Apple products. And even if they weren't, if this Project Scorpio Xbox is significantly more powerful than the PlayStation Neo, do you really think PlayStation won't release a new console down the road to get back the crown of world's most powerful console? This potential iterative approach, if true, is cause for concern for me, as brand new consoles every couple of years isn't the same as iterations of phones, for example, as the majority of people get their phones on contract, so if they're not subsidised, then they're at least on a payment plan, which these consoles most likely will not be. Also, phones have a plethora of uses, whereas games consoles only have a couple. Games, obviously, video streaming and light internet browsing, so the need for upgrading is pretty much purely for gaming purposes as opposed to general improved function. On top of which, consoles seem to be getting further and further away from what consoles were and more towards what PCs are, to such a point where the reasons for gaming on consoles as opposed to PC are less and less appealing. As if there's a new console every 2 or 3 years, console gaming will no longer be cheaper than a PC, as keeping up to date on a console means throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as unless these new consoles are modular, you'll have to throw out all your hardware, whereas on PC you would only need to incrementally upgrade one component at a time. On top of which, PC performance with high-end components will still be superior to consoles. Also, you don't have to pay for a network like PSN or Xbox Live, which soon adds up. And with new console hardware a regular occurrence, you can wave goodbye to such incredibly well optimized games. Honestly, aside from the even playing field of gamepads on console, which is my preferred controller of choice, as opposed to having an uneven playing field of a mouse and keyboard, Giving an advantage over a gamepad on competitive games, there seems like there could be little reason not just to be a PC gamer, as PCs have caught up significantly to consoles in terms of usability in the last few years, and the final death nail in the coffin leading into my last piece of news, potentially all Xbox exclusives including games like Halo could be coming to PC from here onwards, leaving not even the first party exclusives as a reason to stick with consoles. You may dismiss what I'm saying here, presuming that I'm on that whole PC master race bandwagon. Truth be told, I've only really been into PC gaming the last couple of years, and even though it has some major benefits, I still just about prefer console gaming as it stands over PC. Aside from having to pay for the networks, that is. But I could definitely see the pendulum swing in the opposite direction if this is the future of console gaming. The only way I see this panning out better than it sounds now is if the consoles are modular and upgradable. They offer payment plans similar to phones, or if the Xbox Scorpio comes at this from a different angle, as instead of attacking the console market, instead tries to take over the space in between consoles and PC, much like the Steam machine tried and failed. As with Microsoft pushing this whole platform thing, this could make a lot more sense and still preserve the console platform somewhat similar to as it stands today. Sorry, went off on a bit of a rant there. Anywho, that was my recap of the week's gaming news or points of interest. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff I'll miss each week, so feel free to post anything you're into that I missed in the comments section for discussion. Anywho, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.